Hello everyone, welcome back to Exalted Mercury. So in this video I'm going to be talking about the predictions for the months of March and April and the up and coming Mars transit into the sign of Gemini for all moon and rising signs. So Mars will re-enter Gemini again from the 13th of March till the 10th of May, having previously been there for a short time last year in October before it went retrograde back into Taurus. So Mars is an energy planet and it brings assertiveness, initiative and passion into the area of your life. When Mars transits a house, that area of life becomes energized. Mars represents things like competition, land and property, and taking action. Mars has traditionally been considered a malefic planet in astrology, but does not always give negative results. If Mars's energy is allowed to operate in excess, then it can cause difficulties in some areas of life. But if Mars is a functional benefic for your chart, or if it transits the Upachaya houses or the Artha Tricorn houses, then it can do quite well. Now Gemini is a dual air sign ruled by Mercury and is the natural third house, so it represents our conscious mind, communication, hobbies, as well as learning. Gemini is a sign of trying something new, so therefore it can represent innovation and progressive vision. But because Gemini has a short attention span, it finds it difficult to inflict permanent change like Aquarius. It merely scratches the surface. So when Mars enters the dual sign of Gemini, our brains get ignited with passion and drive. We don't just have the power to come up with brilliant ideas, we have the ability to take action on them and turn them into reality. When Mars transits Gemini, we explore new ideas, new hobbies, and Mars transit in Gemini gives us a taste to explore new things rather than making a commitment. However, the consequences are people can leave things unfinished. So in this transit, people might start something new, do it for a little while, and then move on to something else. It just depends on the placement of other major planets like Saturn and Jupiter in the chart. So let's go through the March and April predictions for each rising and moon sign. For Aries natives, Mars is the lord of your chart and is ruling your 1st and 8th house, and will be transiting the sign of Gemini, which is your 3rd house, which is a very good house for Mars. So during this transit, you will feel very courageous and brave. Since your 1st house will be influenced by all of Venus, Mercury, Rahu, Sun and Jupiter at some point across the months of March and April, and with Mars's 3rd house transit, it means that you can experience growth in your personality, which will help you generate new ideas in your life, which you will be able to put into action. These ideas can be new hobbies or new activities you may want to try, or they can be business ideas, which you can implement into your business. So for example, there could be extra services you can provide if you are a freelancer. Whatever ideas you generate and take action on, they can be successful in the longer run, because your Saturn is well placed in the 11th house, and Jupiter will also transit into your 1st house on the 22nd of April, which means that any changes will be there for the longer run and not just for the 2 months that Mars is transiting. Gemini is the natural ruler of the 3rd house, so Mars's transit here will make you more open and direct with your communication. You'll be very assertive in all forms of communication, so you will have to take care not to be too argumentative, especially with your siblings. 8th Lord in the 3rd house shows that you may have some difficulty with your younger sibling, or they might go through some major transformation. Mars's 4th aspect will be on the 6th house of Virgo. Now Jupiter is already aspecting this house, so you have probably been very busy the past 10 months, and Virgo is the sign that wants to execute everything flawlessly. So when Mars aspects this house, it means that you will be challenged to strive for perfection in your work, business, or everyday activities. Mars' third house transit and aspect on the ninth house can show an urge to travel. Mars is influencing both the short and long distance travel houses. So in this period, you could go on an adventure or pilgrimage, or you could even learn something new, as third house is your conscious mind and ninth house is higher learning. Mars' 8th aspect will be on your 10th house of Capricorn. Now Capricorn is Mars' exalted sign, and it represents responsibility, discipline, and structure. Mars' influence here can create a pragmatic energy, and you will be able to work towards your goals in a more realistic and sensible way. So overall, the months of March and April will be very positive for you guys in terms of your work, business, and career. For Taurus natives, Mars is ruling your 7th house and 12th house and will be transiting the sign of Gemini, which is your 2nd house. The Lord of your chart, Venus, will be transiting the 12th and the 1st house during the months of March and April. Now, if you have been going through a good dasha period, and depending on your natal chart, this can be a period where there can be some activity in your finances, assets, and money. Here, you could either look into foreign investments or you can get gains from foreign investment. Remember, when Gemini rules the 2nd house, it means that these people can be very good at finding opportunities to make money. So Mars' transit here can show you will be driven to have more security in your life. However, if you are not going through a good dasha period or your natal chart isn't well supported, then you will have to take care of your assets and finances and try not to take any undue risks. The energy is quite strong in the 12th house for the month of March, with Rahu, Mercury, Venus all there for a period of time. And Venus is the planet of money, so this could be a period where you could become a little more spendthrift. March will also be a month you will have to pay closer attention to your health. You might feel a little bit drained or low on energy and could have minor setbacks to your well-being, especially since Saturn is also aspecting your 4th house, which is a house of happiness. You also have to be a little bit careful of what you eat, so don't take any risks with eating out-of-date food and watch out for anything that you are allergic to. This can also be a period where you might have to visit the dentist or optometrist, as the 12th house Lord Mars is in the 2nd house, which represents teeth and eyes. However, in April things will improve with your Lord Venus moving to the 1st house. Mars transit in the 2nd house means that you need to be careful of your speech with your family and in-laws, as Mars is also aspecting your 8th house, and Mars is a planet which can sometimes make us use harsh language or can create conflicts because of something that has been said. Saturn is also aspecting your 4th house, so you have to take care with your speech in the home environment. So overall, the months of March and April will bring some activity in your finances. The month of March, you may have to pay closer attention to your health, but things will improve in April. For Gemini natives, Mars is ruling your 6th house and 11th house and will be transiting the sign of Gemini, which is your 1st house, which is a house of personality and new beginnings. The Lord of your chart, Mercury, will be transiting between the 10th and 11th house during the months of March and April. So during this period, you'll feel very alive. Your physical energy level can be quite high during this time, and you will need to keep yourself busy with activities. Here, you need to have an outlet to direct Mars' abundance of energy. Otherwise, your mind could become a little bit restless and impatient. So this will be a great period to invest your energy doing an activity or going on a weekend trip somewhere or catching up with friends and other connections. Here you really need to be doing something, even if you are at home. It's a good time to read books or doing things around the house, because if you stay idle, you'll feel very restless. If you are starting a new hobby, you will have to be careful not to invest too much money into it, because it could be short-lived, or you may not commit to it in the longer run. This will also be a period where your personality can become more assertive and confident. You will come onto others with much more vigor than usual, and it's a time where you can likely make a great impression upon someone. This could be a great time to make a speech or sit an interview. 6th Lord Mars is in the first house. So while you need to keep yourself busy, you do need to be careful not to overexert yourself, because this transit can also show accidents depending on your dasha and natal chart. So just take some care when you are driving or exercising at the gym. 11th Lord Mars is in the first house. Mercury is in the 11th house in April, and Jupiter will move to the 11th house on the 22nd of April. So the month of April can be a period where either money comes to you or you could have a desire fulfilled. Mars is also aspecting your 4th house. So here you could get money through your mother or property. Overall, the months of March and April will be very positive with good energy and possibly money. But just be careful not to hurt yourself when doing any physical activities. For Cancer natives, Mars is ruling your 5th and 10th house and will be transiting the sign of Gemini, which is your 12th house. So Mars is a Yogic planet for Cancer natives because it rules a trine and a kendra. The lord of your chart, the moon, transits each sign or house every 2.5 days, which means that your mind and emotions tend to fluctuate. So for some of you, there will definitely be some changes in your career or professional goals. Maybe a change of job, a contract of employment ending, or perhaps you might be traveling for work or going abroad for work for a while. Saturn is currently in your 8th house and aspecting the 10th house, while Rahu is in the 10th house and Jupiter will move there on the 22nd of April. So this confirms the likelihood that there could be changes in your work during these couple of months. Now for those Cancer natives who don't experience any changes in their work, then there will be changes in your career goals, albeit for a few months. The transit of Mars in the 12th house shows that you will feel less driven in your current work, which can create a sense of stagnation and confusion, making it a little bit difficult to start or complete projects or set new professional goals. Mars transit in the 12th house can indicate that you need to take a rest. So this could be a period where you might not be able to exert your physical energy unless you are going abroad for work. Here you could also end up taking unpaid leave for a while. Away from work, 5th Lord Mars in the 12th house and Saturn aspecting the 5th house shows that you need to be extra careful with your health or your children's health, in particular anything related to stomach or your back. Mars's 8th aspect will be on the 7th house of relationships and marriage, and your 7th house Lord Saturn is in the 8th house, so generally Mars having an influence on the 7th house isn't ideal. However, the aspect is on its exalted sign of Capricorn. Now, because Capricorn is a sign of responsibility and practicality, so Mars's energy is manifested in a more mature way, which can help find solutions to any relationship and marriage problems you are having. But since this is the 8th aspect, so there will be something that has to be changed. Overall, for Cancer natives, you can expect some changes in either your career or your career goals. And March and April may be a period where you might decide to take a step back, perhaps relax a little bit and recuperate. for Leo natives, Mars is ruling your 4th and 9th house and will be transiting the sign of Gemini, which is your 11th house, while the Lord of your chart, the Sun, will be transiting the 8th and 9th house during the months of March and April. So since Mars is influencing both the money houses and your Lord, the Sun, is with Jupiter and also influencing the house of joint finances or assets, you can expect most of the period of March and April to be focused around possibly financial planning, budgeting, or maybe inheritance and tax. So Mars is a great planet for you natives and is transiting a good house. So you can expect good results in the form of gains through mother or property. This can also be a period where you can move house or have an upgrade to your existing living conditions or some kind of changes in your domestic life. The Lord of your chart, the Sun, will be transiting the 8th house, so there could be some kind of sudden but positive event in your life. If you have investment properties, you could be selling one of them, or maybe you could be getting a boost in rental income because rents are sky high in many places around the world at the moment. 9th Lord Mars transiting the 11th house, it shows that you will be driven to innovate, dream and hope. So here you may decide to do a short course or enroll in a learning program. Jupiter will also be moving into the 9th house along with the Sun in April. So this is a great period for learning. This learning could be through work where you and your colleagues are attending training or something that you have decided to do on your own. However, the only drawback is there may be elements in the learning session or course where you have to work as a group in order to pass. So you just have to make sure you cooperate with others. So overall, there will be activity in your finances, assets, possibly changes related to property. In terms of your personality, you can be a little bit secretive during this period. This is a positive period for students and learning, and this can also be a period where you could travel towards the end of April. For Virgo natives, Mars is ruling your 3rd and 8th house and will be transiting the sign of Gemini, which is your 10th house, while the Lord of your chart, Mercury, will be transiting your 6th, 7th and 8th house during the months of March and April. So the month of March is particularly good for your career. Saturn is in the 6th house and Mars transit in the 10th indicates your desire to be recognized for your accomplishments. This is a period where you are driven to succeed, and because Mars is in the sign of Gemini, it's a good period to either start a new business or take action of new ideas to make changes to an existing business. Saturn is transiting your 6th house, so perhaps you may have already started a new business the last couple of years. So this is a period where you can make any adjustments or changes. If you are not in business, then you will feel very energized to really drive and work towards your professional goals. One thing you need to be careful of though is because Mars is ruling your 8th house, there can be some unpredictability of action. So make sure you don't do anything that can come and bite you in the back. 8th Lord is in the 10th house, can show some sudden changes in your work. If you are in the research field, then this is a very good period for your work where you can actually discover something new. In the month of April, your Lord Mercury will transit the 8th house. So there will be a lot of activity in this house with the Sun and Rahu also here. So this can be a time when you try to get more in touch with the hidden aspects of yourself. April will be a period where conversations and intellectual encounters have a more intense effect upon your mind, causing you to go deep within yourself and make changes in the point of view or ways of thinking. Since Mars' 8th aspect is on the 5th house, and Jupiter, which represents children, moves into the 8th house on the 22nd of April, and Ketu is transiting your 2nd house, this can show sudden additions to the family. So overall, the months of March and April are fairly positive for your career, especially if you are in the research field. April will be a period where you feel a little bit more introspect. For Libra natives, Mars is ruling your 2nd house and 7th house and will be transiting the sign of Gemini, which is your 9th house, while the Lord of your chart, Venus, will be transiting the 7th house in March and 8th house in April. So first of all, the 9th house represents our belief system, not just our religious beliefs, but general beliefs and ideas that you consider to be important and true. 7th Lord Mars in the 9th house can show that your spouse will challenge your beliefs and you will try to assert and defend your beliefs or philosophical ideas. So here you could be in a relationship or you may be married, but you both have your own ways of doing things or ideas that the other person doesn't agree with. And since the planet of love, Venus, is also transiting the 7th house in the sign of Aries in March, this can be a period where you can be rather direct and upfront about your feelings, which can cause some disagreements between couples. If you are in a business partnership, then there could also be some disagreements between the two of you, with both of you at disagreement on how to do things. If you are single, well then March is a good period where you could meet someone. Although Ketu is currently transiting your 1st house, which may have made you feel less enthusiastic the past 12 months, there could well be enough energy in your 7th house with Venus and Rahu where you could feel some drive and energy to meet someone. And when Venus transits the 8th house in April, the sexual side of a relationship can be stimulated. But remember, Saturn is in the 5th house, so any relationship you get into will have to have a serious intent, otherwise it will just break. 2nd Lord Mars in the 9th house shows that this is a period where you might be interested in learning something or doing a course, or if you are already a student, you could be immersed in your studies. This is a great time if you are a teacher or a coach, because you will be able to motivate and get your message across to students or players to do better. Mars transit in the 9th house whilst also aspecting the 12th house and 3rd house can show that you could be driven to expand your life. So this can indicate travel to some foreign places. You may have had a dream to explore some faraway land, so this is a great time to go for it. Mercury, your 9th lord, will be transiting in your 7th house, so wherever you travel will be very fruitful for you and a fulfillment of a desire. 2nd Lord Mars in the 9th house, which is a Trikona house, and the Lord of your chart Venus will be in the 8th house in its own sign in April, while Jupiter is in the 6th house. So this could be a fortunate period regarding assets, valuables, wealth, and this transit could attract money to you. So there could be a sudden increase of wealth. So overall, March and April are good periods. There can be travel and a good period for teachers and coaches. A mixed period for relationships or business partnerships. So the results will depend on your natal chart. For Scorpio natives, Mars is the ruler of your chart and therefore rules your 1st house and 6th house and will be transiting the sign of Gemini, which is your 8th house. When the 6th house lord is in the 8th house, this combination is called a Viprit Raj Yoga. Now what that means is that the negative significations of the 6th house, such as enemies, diseases and obstacles, can be eliminated to a certain extent depending on your dasha. Now if you have been having issues with your co-workers, then this is a period where you can get some relief. So when Mars transits the 8th house, it means that you are driven to transform. You are not satisfied with something in your life and will strive to change it. Now this can be something big or small, depending on your natal chart and dasha. Since Mars is ruling your 1st house and 6th house, there could be something that you want to change in your appearance or something in your everyday routine, such as work, or you may be dealing with health issues. Then this could be a period where you can have a surgery or a minor procedure done to cure any problems. You have to remember though that Saturn is in the 4th house, which is the house of happiness. So depending on your natal chart, if you are determined to change something, it will take a little bit of time to get used to. Mars in the 8th house can also cause conflicts with joint resources. If you are in a marriage or business partnership, then there could be disagreements on the management of money or property, particularly in the month of March. In April, when Venus moves into your 7th house, you will balance out between yourself and your spouse or business partner. Mars is also aspecting both your money houses, 11th house and 2nd house. So there could be some activity in your finances and a possibility of a change of career or job, as your 10th Lord Sun will be transiting the 5th house from the 15th of March to the 14th of April. So overall, March and April will be a period where you will want to make some personal changes or changes in your daily routine or work, and you will have to take a little bit of care with your finances in a partnership. For Sagittarius natives, Mars is ruling your 5th house and 12th house and is transiting the sign of Gemini, which is your 7th house, while the lord of your chart, Jupiter, is transiting the 4th house before moving into the 5th house at the end of April. Now Mars in the 7th house isn't generally considered ideal, but Mars is a good planet for you guys, and depending on your circumstances, Mars can offer some good results. If you are single, then this can be a period where your 7th house can get energized and you will put some effort to try and meet new people with a view to having a relationship with a lucky person. And because this is in the sign of Gemini, you might be able to come across someone through dating sites, dating apps, or through friends and social events. The person can also be from a different caste, religion, or culture. Jupiter will also be moving to your 5th house and will be conjunct Rahu. So this can be a phase where if you meet someone, then you'll be dating them for a longer period of time and not just the 2 months that Mars is transiting Gemini. If you are already in a relationship or business partnership, and if there generally is a good deal of harmony in the connection, then this can be a period where you can put a great deal of energy into working well together, and any minor issues can get resolved. If you are in a negative dasha period though, and your natal chart isn't well supported for relationships, then this could cause some breaks in partnership. Mars's 4th aspect on your 10th house of Virgo can show that you will be very committed and focused on your career. This is a period where you could learn something new and you feel mentally stimulated, but also challenged, which means that you are developing and redefining your career goals, or you're working really hard to achieve your established goals. Overall, Mars is influencing 3 out of the 4 Kendra houses, and Kendra houses are the houses of action and the pillars of the horoscope. So these couple of months, you will feel very energized to try and sort your life out in terms of career, relationship, but also your overall personality. Saturn is in its Mul Tricorn sign in the 3rd house, which means that your energy levels are good after a difficult couple of years. Jupiter, your Lagna lord, will move to the 5th house and will conjunct Sun, Mercury and Rahu in April. So this will be a month where you can have lots of fun, amusement and do lots of activities. So overall a great period, even though your Lord Jupiter in the 4th is scissored between Rahu and Saturn, and you may have had to struggle for happiness the past 10 months, but it will now start to give you better results in these months. For Capricorn natives, Mars rules your 4th house and 11th house and will be transiting the sign of Gemini, which is your 6th house, while the Lord of your chart Saturn will be transiting your 2nd house. Now, since 11th Lord Mars is in the 6th house and Saturn is in the 2nd house, and since these are both money houses, the worst case scenario is that income can be a bit slow. So for example, if you are in business, you may not be getting the number of clients or customers, but all that means is that you may need to make some changes in order to generate more income. Mars in the 6th house is positive and you will feel driven to work and will be completely focused to get every task completed. You can have great attention to detail during this period and you will be able to follow through with your daily routine. The 2nd, 6th and 10th house are known as the Eartha Trikona houses and they all have planetary energies transiting there. So Saturn, Mars and Ketu can actually work together. So here some of you can also expect changes in your job. The 4th house, which represents home and family, will have a lot of planetary influence during the months of March and April, with Jupiter, Rahu, Mercury, Sun and Venus all influencing the 4th house at some point. And along with Saturn in the 2nd house, it can create a little bit of a challenging period in your domestic life and with family. 12th Lord Jupiter and 8th Lord Sun will transit the 4th house along with Rahu between the middle of April till the end of April. So here it can create issues with regards to property or residence. So just make sure that you take extra care in these matters. So overall, it's a decent period for work and business, but a slightly challenging time with regards to domestic life. For Aquarius natives, Mars is ruling your 3rd house and 10th house and will be transiting the sign of Gemini, which is your 5th house, while the Lord of your chart Saturn is transiting your 1st house. And if you are following transits from the moon, Aquarius natives, you are going through the peak phase of Sarasati, where Saturn is transiting over your natal moon. So first of all, Saturn's transit in the 1st house or over your natal moon means that you are going through changes in your life. There will be new beginnings, projects and opportunities in your life, but also a little bit of fear, and it will take time to adjust and feel confident. Maybe you have already started to go through changes in your life. So during the months of March and April, you will have a lot on your mind. You will be busy gathering information and thinking a lot. So a busy period for mental and physical activity. This can be in any area where you are experiencing change, such as work, residence, family, business, etc. And now, because 3rd house Lord Mars is in the 5th house, whatever information you gather, you will be able to take action on it in the right way with respectful ethics. Third house Lord Mars is in the fifth house, and it can mean that you can have an opportunity to take a desire, such as an enjoyable hobby, to the next level. So for example, you might play a musical instrument or maybe sports, and you will have a chance to audition or get scouted, which could potentially turn into a new career. This could also be a time when you are looking to start a new business, as 10th house Lord Mars is in the 5th house, so it can show a complete change in your career or a period where you maybe start your own business. Whatever new project or opportunity that you commence, just be wary that Saturn is in the 1st house, so you will have to show a good deal of patience and endurance before getting rewards. 10th house Lord Mars in the 5th house is also the house of recognition. So here you can get appreciation or acknowledgement for your work, and you may get selected to go work abroad, as the 12th house Lord Saturn is in the 1st house. Mars, Saturn and Ketu are all in a trine, which means they are all in the same element and can actually work together. Mars and Saturn are not the best of friends, but during these couple of months, with the patience of Saturn and the willingness of Mars, you will be able to complete any difficult or exacting work. So overall, March and April will be mentally and physically busy, but also very eventful. So Aquarius natives, let me know how you get on. For Pisces natives, Mars rules your 2nd and 9th house and will be transiting the sign of Gemini, which is your 4th house, while the lord of your chart, Jupiter, will be in the 1st house. Now Jupiter in the 1st house and Saturn in the 12th house is all about endings and letting go of the past in order to grow. So these are generally significant or major events in a person's life. Together, Jupiter and Mars are influencing all 4 Kendra houses, which are the 1st, 4th, 7th and 10th. So these houses have a major impact on our personality. So during this period, some of you may have to let go of certain connections or friends, or possibly a job where you have worked for a long time. For some of you, a change of residence is possible, or you could well be starting the process to move abroad for work or study purposes. So these endings and new beginnings in your life can change the type of person you are, and you will start to notice changes in your behavior and personality during March and April. Mars is ruling the 9th house, and when it transits the 4th house, it can show a period where you will feel happiness either through higher education, travel or religion. The 11th house is our desires, and its Lord Saturn is in the 12th. So some of you will be going abroad or some of you will be going abroad or starting the process to go abroad for study purposes or work, which will be a fulfillment of a desire. But while you are going abroad, you are letting go of your home and will be forced to make certain changes in who you are in order to adapt to the new place. The months of March and April will bring some activity in your finances, because during these months there are a lot of planetary energies transiting the 2nd house. So the changes in your life and the things you have to let go can have a positive effect on your finances and also your values, since Jupiter, your Lagna Lord, will be moving to the 2nd house on the 22nd of April. So overall, the months of March and April, you can experience meaningful changes in who you are. So Pisces natives, let me know how you get on. So those were some of the general predictions for all zodiac signs for the months of March and April. If you have any comments, then please leave them in the comment section below, and I will try to find time to answer them. And I will see you next time. Thank you.